If you don't value wealth, you won't create wealth. If you are not clear why you want to be wealthy and what it does for you. So what money does for you is it sets you free. So you can dress how you want. In fact, when you enter a place, the most overdressed person is usually the brokest person. Understanding that power that you carry within you, understanding how to manipulate that energy that is within you and use it to create a product or a service that creates value and serves people, you will always have money. Once you have a goal and you want to achieve that goal, you will move a mountain to do that thing. So it's important that you know what it is you want. Nobody can motivate you, I'm sorry. Motivation is an internal job. Staying focused and going the whole way is all you. The real encounter with money was the awakening of my consciousness onto the money language that I had inherited from my parents, which was, I want something doesn't mean you get it. Money doesn't grow on trees. That language actually was what shaped. They're very excited on the other side of the wall. That language was what shaped my early experience of money. And we had, how many people know what a kolo is? So it's a piggy bank. But I grew up in Ijebu, so there were no piggy banks, there was kolo. And it was made out of clay. And we religiously used to put any money we got in that clay. Until, I don't know why, but my father decided that it was my own kolo they were going to use to buy plantain to feed everybody in that house that day. And honestly, my hopes of ever saving money were dashed from that day. Because I felt, what was the point of saving the money if somebody can just take it away from you just like that? And really, the lesson in that is that if you give somebody the power to feed you, you also give them the power to starve you. So it is really so important that you understand how much agency you actually have over your own life. And if he hadn't done that to me, I probably would never have become very conscious of money as I grew older. But that's what really shaped my early perceptions of money. Those money doesn't grow on trees kind of statements. So where does it grow? So I come from a family where there are doctors, lawyers, engineers, and all those professions of 30, 40, 50 years ago. And I spent 2 weeks or 3 weeks, okay, maybe max 1 month, in Ahmadu Bello University trying to be a lawyer. And it was the most boring thing I ever did in my entire life. No disrespect to lawyers. So I decided, you know what? I don't really know what I want to do. But here's the thing. I'm going to go home anyway and go and see if I can really find what it is I want to do. But I just know that I don't want to be in this place. And I don't want to be a lawyer. Now, people say to me, in retrospect, that was brave. And I said, no, it wasn't brave. I wasn't being brave or trying to be brave. I just remember my mother's words that said to me, it's up to you. The choices you make in your life, it's up to you to choose what it is that you want to do with your life. And so, I don't want to be here. So I packed up and I left. I told my classmates, by the way, that I was coming back. So some of them were still waiting for me. But I had gone. I was gone. And I discovered that I actually didn't want to be a lawyer, but there was nothing else I was interested in. So I was privileged, and I will use that word because it was a privilege for my mother to say to me, okay, take a year off school. But when you take a year off school, you're going to work with me in my own business. Because we don't take a year off and not work. You earn money. You have to earn the money you're going to use for the time that you're not in school. Because you're not going to sit here, eat, drink, whatever. You can't even say you watch TV all day because there was no TV all day anyway to watch. So do nothing all day would be her expression. And what I discovered was that in helping my mother, I discovered that all this adire and making of clothing and making of adire that had surrounded me since I was a child, I had actually subliminally absorbed the level of creativity that I was totally unaware that I had. So wanting to be a lawyer would actually not have been my truth and not have been my journey. It was my father's journey and truth, not mine. So I then decided to carry on working with my mom, and she did a thing of trust. She gave me 2,500 naira to go to Ibadan. Gave me the driver. You go buy the material. I'm talking 40 years ago. 2,500 naira was 2,500 pounds. 40 years ago. Go and buy the material you want. Take that, bring the material, make it. You will take it to Lagos. You will go and sell it. And I did. And what struck me was the amount of freedom I had. What struck me was I didn't have to play by anybody's rules. I could make my own rules and I could live by my own rules. And those rules just required that I was extremely disciplined, I was focused, I was committed to whatever it is I wanted to do. I had to work 10 times harder than everybody else because don't forget, my classmates are coming out of university, lawyers, going into the banking industry. I'm making clothes. And everybody's looking at me like, how did Nike just, I don't want to use the word, but mess up. Let's say mess up. So did I mess up? No, I didn't. Because more people know me today than know them. The people who are my classmates. And I say it with all humility. Actually, I don't say it with all humility. I say it with a lot of pride.
Yes.
I just say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I say it with a truckload of pride. So I think that it's important you understand that no matter what your backstory is, no matter what your present story is, what is important are the choices that you make in the micro moments of your life every single day, sitting down with yourself and asking yourself the question, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to go? And those were the things that I asked myself. So I went into this business making adire with my mom, sewing clothes in adire with my mom. What happened? I had Mrs. Babangida was my client. Mrs. Enzo Okoli, they were my clients. I was 20 years old. Late Mrs. Donya Biola that just passed was my client. These women were older than me. But do you know what? I was maybe 20 years old. And I had access to women at that level. So what happened? I made sure that I was so good. My age didn't matter. I was so professional. My age was irrelevant. I was the best at what I did, which was I was a fashion consultant, I was a stylist, and I would make you look better than any woman in any room. And I was good at it. And I knew I was good at it. But I was young. I was very, very young. But I learned something from these women. I didn't have a Mercedes-Benz. I had a beaten down, battered Golf that its gear came out one day when I was driving. Yeah. But they drove into my store. They drove in Mercedes-Benzes. They drove in bejeweled and bedecked. They looked good. They smelled good as well. And their money was good. And I charged them, even though I was young. And some of them would say, what do you, this small girl, want to do with all this money? And I would say, watch me. Just watch me in a couple of years. But you see, we're often situated with people who we can learn from, but perhaps we're distracted and looking at something else. What did I learn from those women? The freedom that their money gave them. What did I learn from them? The fact that they could be, do, or have anything. They could travel anywhere. They owned properties. They could do anything that they wanted to do. Those were the women that shaped my life along with my mother. Because I wanted to be like that. I wanted to own property. And I didn't want to be shy about being ambitious. I am ambitious. I like money. Money likes me. Because, look, I'm trying to remember one song. Owo akwekanuko. Owo money elo. I have a need for you. So I want you and you want me. We're friends. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. That's my relationship with money at this point in time in my life. But I learned that a long time ago. So that came to an end, and then Rough and Tumble started. I got married, and because I came from a polygamous and highly dysfunctional family, I decided that I did not want that to happen for myself. And so I had to redefine everything that I was doing. And I had to ask myself a whole new set of questions. I am now going to be Adenike OGUNLESI, Mrs. Adenike OGUNLESI, Mommy Adenike OGUNLESI, Sister Adenike OGUNLESI, Entrepreneur Adenike OGUNLESI. 5 people in one person. And I've not even talked about social impact Adenike OGUNLESI at all. So how was I going to work and navigate this? Sorry. I don't know why. My perfume is very nice, but I don't think it's nice for flies. It's nice for me. So I had to step back. The women became very demanding. I wanted my marriage to work. I wanted to be a mother that was present. I wanted to know my children. I wanted them to know me. I wanted to be able to impart the kind of values that I would be proud of when I would meet them as adults that they are today. I wanted to be proud of them and what they would be able to, what they would achieve with their lives. So motherhood was a big job, a big responsibility for me. But I knew that if I did not continue as a businesswoman, I would be a nightmare of a wife. Because, I had the energy of like 10 people. So my children would take some of my energy. My exercise would take some of my energy. My business took 90-something% of my energy. And if I didn't have that channel to self-actualize, to find a place where I was centered in what I believed was my purpose as a human being, not as a mother, not as a wife, not as a sister or whatever. That was important to me so that I could feel purposeful and I could feel that I had contributed to my society. And so I stopped attending to all those women and I was looking for pajamas for my children and I couldn't find any cotton pajamas to buy. So I decided to make pajamas for my children. And I mentioned to a couple of people and they said, make for me. Okay, make for you. Who else can I be making for, please? So I made a whole load of them, took them in the boot of my car, went to my children's play school and stood at the gate and said, you know what? I have these lovely pajamas. Would you like to see them? They're only 750 naira. And some of the women would look at me like I got off the wrong bus. Or maybe I missed my route. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Snobbery at the highest level. But you see, if you are going to sell, if you're going to be a salesperson, your body has to be used to rejection. Your mind has to be used to rejection. It's you just take it in your stride and just know that that's not your customer and move on. Full stop. And from there, other women kept asking me for other things. So I did what I didn't know was market research at the time. I went up and down Allen Avenue to see who was selling what. What were they doing right and what were they not doing right? And what I did with that was to come up with a plan because I realized that retail in Nigeria was crap in those days. Now they wrap the things for you in tissue, they spray everything on it. We are the forebearers. I'm one of the forebearers of that, of what you are all enjoying now as retail, as sophisticated retail in Nigeria right now. They threw things in nylon bags and wrote you a handwritten receipt. That's if the girl herself wasn't drinking Coke and eating groundnut. You'll be lucky. So I realized that I could bring a new experience into the retail industry. How I was going to do it, I didn't know. But you see, in my first life, I did something. I call my first life as a women's clothing a stylist and designer. I call it my first life because it almost sometimes feels like I'm not even connected to that life anymore. I can't even remember it anymore. What I did was I made very smart money decisions. I divided money into 3. One was to my upkeep. One was back in the business. One was in a financial institution. And what I did to start Rough and Tumble was to sell my whatever you call it now. I don't know what you call it now. With Merrill Lynch. I had a portfolio. I had a financial portfolio with Merrill Lynch, which I had saved from when I was about 22 years old. And was about $80,000 at the time. And that's what I actually used to start Rough and Tumble. So that's how Rough and Tumble started. It was seed money from money I had saved when I worked before in my life. So people tell you don't save. I didn't save the money in the bank because inflation just makes it just paper and coloring. But if you save it in monetary instruments, if you save it with financial institutions, if you invest it rather, not save. If you invest it, then you can use it. It will grow. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes discipline. And it takes what I call removing your eye. Forget that you have it. Honestly, this is the thing. Here's the thing. All I know is this is what I want to do. And I feel like entrepreneurship is a bit like you get to the edge of a cliff, you look down, you go, Kai, am I ready to jump? But you jump anyway. You just jump. Head down, feet first, sideways. You just go all in. Then you work like mad that your feet don't touch the ground so that you don't have any broken bones. Or that you grow wings and begin to fly back up somewhere along the line. And that's what entrepreneurship feels like to me. So I jump. So long as it's not hurting anybody. And I know that this in my heart. And this is where I can't divorce my spiritual journey from my money journey. Or from my business journey. Because my spirituality is what gives me the courage. My spirituality is what gives me the sense of self. My spirituality is what gives me... I'm not talking about going to church to listen to a pastor who is flying around in a PJ while you are locking yourself around town without a car. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you understanding your essence and your core as a human spirit that is powerful and that has a lot more control over their life than you have been made to understand. There's nobody in the sky. And there's nobody coming to rescue you. You are your own rescue party. You have to sit down with you and learn to know what you, as a human being, placed on this earth, wants out of this life. Nobody can tell you that. Only you. At 3 o'clock in the morning, you and your spirit looking at each other with nobody. There's nobody to perform for. There's nobody to show off to. Nobody at that time cares whether you have a Hermes bag or whether you have a whatever. Nobody gives a damn. It's you and the quiet of the night where you can hear your spirit speak to you as to what direction you should go. And the more you do it, the stronger that intuition and your spirit of discernment will be. And it will guide you on your own life's path. You don't need a third-party interpreter, your pastor. I don't believe in work-life balance. I don't believe that it is possible to balance. I believe that you have to live a life by design, not by default. And a lot of people live a life by default. So if you sit down and you design what are the things that you value in your life. So there are like 6 parameters for me. My spirituality is the first one. The second one is my health. The third one is wealth. I am unapologetic about wanting to have my own money. I am unapologetic about wanting to buy a ticket if I want to buy it, business class, first class, any class, and fly. I earned it. I can do it. I want to be able to do it. That for me is freedom. And you soon realize as you get older that, honestly, money is a gift. Wealth is a gift. There's so much that you can do with it. It gives you access. It's like the movie, I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Hello Dolly. She says money is like manure to be spread around to make things grow. And that's what money does. Money makes things grow. But personal wealth is very important to me. Lifestyle is very, very important to me. I don't really care about the where all the this and where all the that. I'm not interested. But if I invite you to eat in my house, you will know that you had a meal. Yeah. If I invite you to be a guest in my home, you will know that you stayed in a place that is 7-star, not 5-star. So for me, the things that people don't see about me, but that are personal to me, are more important to me than performing for an audience of people who don't really care about me. Because when the chips are down, nobody really cares. They care about themselves. So, the other one is learning and development. To live a life of continuous learning, where I'm always open to learning from anybody, from any situation, from an institution, but life lessons from people who have gone on a path that I would like to go on. Very important for me. So those parameters, I design my life around it. So family is the other one. So how do all the moving parts of my life work together and integrate together in such a way that I have learned to create frameworks that help me prioritize? So what is a priority in this point and season in my life? What is a priority? And can I focus on that and make that work for me the way I want it to work for me? Does that make sense? I'm asking you a question now. Yeah? So that for me is what is important. Can you really have it all of the time? No. You can have it all some of the time and be happy with having it at that point in time. What you have, appreciate it, be grateful for it, because there's so many other people that don't have what you have. So learn to be in a place of gratitude and put in systems, put in processes. My house was run like a military barracks. I have 3 children. My 3 children, they were timetabled from when they woke up to when they went to bed. So along and across the entire day, I knew where my children were and what they were doing, and what windows were open for swimming, karate, music, whatever. Planned. It's a regiment. You can't come home and say you want to eat something different. No. I got a life and I'm going to live my own life. You will follow the timetable, including Oga at the top. Everybody follows the timetable, so that we have a system in place and everybody gets fed good quality food. So that's how I've lived my life. My learning and development is the same thing, is regimented. I have a room in my house, is full, ground to top, is books. That's where I do my learning. It's overlooking a peaceful place for me. It's amazing. I love it. So I designed my entire life. I don't care what's going on outside. I have agency over my life. So I choose the things that are priority. Ashwabi is not a priority for me. I don't care who you are. Attending a 1,000 people wedding with another 1,000 people who don't know each other, it's not a priority. It's not. Fake hair is not a priority. Fake nails is not a priority. It's fake. Yes, embrace your beauty. I had real long hair. I cut it off. I'm wearing a fro. I love it. It's about me. It's not about anybody else. And you see, when you can make these personal choices, what happens is you can make the right money choices for yourself, because you are not performing for anybody. So whatever kind of bag you carry, I carry a luncheon bag. Today I'm carrying a flashy bag. Yeah, okay. But every day I don't. But you've got to be comfortable in who you are. And that's why your spirituality is so important. That you are so comfortable in who you are. It's not about anything but your goals and where you're going. And you're so centered that somebody buys something new, you don't have to go and buy it too to show that you can afford it. In fact, the more you want to show that you can afford something, the more you can't afford it. The more you want to keep up with the Joneses, the more broke ass you are. And if you want to go out labeled from your top to your toes, that's broke behavior. It is. It's absolute broke behavior. The Gucci belt, the Gucci shoe, the Gucci watch, the Gucci t-shirt, the Gucci hat. You've been Guccified. Gucci is smiling all the way to the bank, but you broke. So hey, do you really want to be broke and make Gucci rich? Then what happens when you get to my age? You have no savings. Your lifestyle begins to change. No, now. Life by design, not by default. By the time you want to buy Gucci, you can buy 10 pairs of Gucci, but you choose not to buy Gucci because you know who you are and because you know where you're going and why you're going where you're going. To design the life that you want and make sure that in your value system, wealth is a value. Because if you don't value wealth, you won't create wealth. If you are not clear on why you want to be wealthy and what it does for you. So it's really not the money. It's the emotions behind the money. And it is what the money can do for you that is really important. And what money does for you is it sets you free. So you can dress how you want. In fact, when you enter a place, the most overdressed person is usually the brokest person. Understand this one thing. No matter where you're coming from, no matter what you have experienced in your life, you actually have a lot more agency over your own life than anything else in this world. And understanding that power that you carry within you, understanding how to manipulate that energy that is within you and use it to create a product or a service that creates value and serves people, you will always have money. So it's about creating value and understanding that in my purpose is my service, if that makes sense. In my gift is my service to the world. And that's how I create value, and that's how the world rewards me back with value. Internet has told young people that they should quit and do their own thing. Whether they can feed themselves or pay their own rent or not, they should do their own thing, still living under their parents' roof. They should still continue to be doing their own thing. And time is going. So, look, one of the things I've learned is you are the visioneer. Your energy is going to have to carry that business as far as you want it to go. But there will come a point in time where your energy can't carry it. You need to build a team that aligns with you. And that's one of the most challenging things to do in a business. To find the right people with the right values that understand where it is you want to go. And they want to go with you. So they're not in a job. They actually believe in what you're doing. Some people find it very easy to do. I was never a team player. I learned the hard way. I did a team bonding exercise and I scored 0. I mean, go figure. I scored 0. I couldn't believe it. Because I'm very single-minded and very focused when I want to do something. I usually would just get people out of my way and go do it. But if you want to scale a business, you can't do that. So here's the thing you need to make sure that you have. The first thing is, again, another set of pillars. I live my life by different pillars. The first one is the product or the service. So what's your product? What's your service? Who is your customer? For us at Rough and Tumble, for example, we have is that what the problem is? We have a customer and we have a consumer. The parent is the customer, the child is the consumer. Yeah, you need to know who they are, what is important to them, what are the emotional things you can build with them. The next one is now the people. How do you align the people along these pillars to understand what your vision is, and how do they see themselves serving people externally as well as internally? Yeah. And the people question is a big problem for all businesses at this point in time, where the work ethic is very poor. People don't think anything of working for you with your own computer and working for somebody else in your own time that you've paid them. Yeah? People don't think anything wrong with it. It's morally wrong. It's professionally wrong as well. Yeah? People don't see anything wrong with picking up their phones in the middle of work. They go, I just want to answer this call, ma. Oje logba salary elo when to answer this call pelu. Nigba yen. Do you understand? It's so unprofessional. You know, and the thing is this, unfortunately, I will not be around in 40 years. I don't want to be around in 40 years because I'll be toothless, gumless probably as well. So I don't want to be. But it will be interesting to see what will happen to the generation of people now who can't commit to anything for a sustained period of time. And you want to make money. It's not about the things you can buy now. It's about the things that you can do when you're my age. And you don't start planning at my age. You start planning now. This is when you invest. This is when you work. This is when you skill, you tool up, you learn. This is when you do that. Not when you are 60-something. Yeah? So, you then move on to I'm talking about these pillars, but I'm talking about them, yeah? Finance, understanding money. Understanding the dynamics of inflows and outflows, and how sometimes in a business there's a lot of flow and the flow is going out and it's not staying and you're wishing it would stick, but it can't stick because you're trying to grow a business. Understanding what technology does for you, what you can use technology for, and now what you can use AI for. You can do, all you have to do is ask it the question and it types you the answer. Even if it's something to do with yourself, it'll tell you, it will create a framework. I love it. Type in, create a framework for me to, it's out. But you see, the thing is, you still have to do something. You still have to act. So bringing the team together, explaining to them those parameters, trying to find some kind of alignment. Nobody's going to stay with you till they die. They will leave you. But what you have to remember is, if they go, what if you drop dead? What will happen? Life will carry on. So have the same attitude. Find a replacement and keep going. Just know and promise yourself, nobody will stop me from going where I want to go. Nobody will stop me from building the business I want to build. And honestly, it's just a speed bump on the road. The road gets smoother in front. Then you can call the shots. I have to get up. Sorry. You should never ever try to shrink yourself to make somebody else feel better. Never. Yeah? So be careful the kind of language you use when you are talking about yourself, because you will become what you say about yourself. It's very important. So pay attention. Now, I've always been, I am myself. But what I learned was that sometimes, you see, communication is not just the words. Communication is your body language. Communication is what you didn't say, but you were saying as well. And somebody who's older than you is intuitive enough to know when you are giving them attitude. And if you give me attitude, I will show you the door. I don't have the patience for it. Simple. Yeah? So what I did was I went to take communication lessons to learn how to communicate and to understand the dynamics of communicating with people. So managing up and managing down. There's some people you are direct with, they can't take it. They don't understand. Or they're so caught up in I don't know. They can't hear. So it's, what do you want that person to hear? What do you want that person to feel? Yes, your bluntness might be good. I learned that. I had to learn it. It's good for me. But what is the impact I want to have on that other person? Because at the end of the day, there's something I'm trying to achieve. So what I want to achieve then becomes my focus. So when I am now communicating, I am communicating in a way that the person will hear me, not block me. Does that make sense? So go and do a communication training. You will find it on, you know where to find it. But don't ever belittle yourself. That got me up. There is no growth in your comfort zone. And nothing ever happens in your comfort zone. Except maybe you get fat. And you get lazy. Yeah? And you become just, I don't know, uninteresting and boring, probably. So, what do I do? One of the things I do is put myself in a place where I am uncomfortable. So, I put myself in situations where I am uncomfortable. Yeah? So, a couple of years ago, I started doing yoga. And yoga is uncomfortable. Because you are going to move your body into different flows that are not normal, and you will find that your body will resist you. As your body resists you, so does your mind. And so I learned from doing yoga that the resistance I met on the yoga mat was also somewhere else in my life. I was resisting something. Yeah? So what was I resisting? Growth to the next level. So I needed to break through here to go and break through there. So sports is a very good way of breaking through. Now, these are practical things that I found worked for me. And I found work for people who have some level of success. You challenge yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. And you set the goal that you want to achieve for yourself. Those are some of the things that I would do. Yeah? I would climb a tabletop mountain. I'm afraid of heights. I'm terrified of heights. But I would climb a tabletop mountain and I would be telling myself as I'm going, I finish what I start. I finish what I start. I'm good at beginning things. I'm good at finishing things. I literally will psych myself all the way up and back down again. I will say I'm going for a 10-kilometer walk. I will begin, I will time myself. No matter what happens to my feet, no matter what happens to my back, I will finish that walk. Because what I finish there, that energy, I will bring it into everything else I want to do. And my life is divided into my spirituality, wealth, health, family, learning and development, and lifestyle. So once I've clearly defined the things that I want, it's once you have a goal and you want to achieve that goal, you will move a mountain to do that thing. So it's important that you know what it is you want. Nobody can motivate you, I'm sorry. Motivation is an internal job. Somebody can get you going, but staying focused and staying going the whole way is all you. And that's why I say you've got to design your life for you. Not for your father, not for your mother, not for your neighbor. Not for what Anwenyoma saw, so to speak. But what you, as a living, breathing human spirit made in the image and likeness of the God that created the heavens and the earth and all that there is in it, that has given you the awesome power to create, that has given you creative intelligence to take something from nothing and make it into something. What will you do with that? Just stay comfortable? That's a wasted life. You don't want to do that.